Lexus has one of the strongest reputations in the car world. And that's exactly the problem. The moment people see that badge, they stop asking questions. They hear Toyota reliability and assume they're getting a luxury bargain. But not every Lexus deserves its reputation. And that's exactly what we're exposing today. The Lexus cars only the dumbest people could own. Let's start with a Lexus that fooled a lot of people. The IS250. On paper, it looked like the perfect luxury car. It had sporty styling, a premium interior, rear-wheel drive, and the reputation of a Lexus. Best of all, used examples became surprisingly affordable. For a lot of buyers, it seemed like a no-brainer. You got the Lexus badge without paying Lexus money. What could possibly go wrong? Well, quite a bit. The first issue was performance. Despite its sporty appearance, the IS250 was never particularly quick. It produced just over 200 horsepower, which sounded fine until you actually drove it. The car looked aggressive, but the driving experience often felt underwhelming. Push the throttle, and the response wasn't exactly exciting. But that's not the reason it made this list. The bigger problem was hiding inside the engine. The IS250 used an early direct injection V6 engine. At the time, direct injection was becoming more common because it improved efficiency and emissions. Sounds great, right? Not exactly. Unlike traditional fuel injection systems, fuel in a direct injection engine doesn't pass over the intake valves. That means oil vapors and carbon deposits can slowly build up over time. And that's exactly what happened. Many owners began reporting carbon buildup on the intake valves. Some experienced rough idling. Others noticed hesitation, misfires, reduced performance, or sluggish acceleration. In certain cases, fixing the issue required expensive cleaning procedures that many buyers never expected from a Lexus. And that's where the trap begins. People hear the word Lexus and immediately think of one thing: reliability. They expect years of trouble-free ownership, maintenance costs to be low, the car to take care of itself. So when these issues started appearing, many owners were caught completely off guard. But somehow, the IS250's biggest problem wasn't even the engine. It was the fact that another option existed: the IS350. For years, the IS350 sat right beside it in the lineup. It had significantly more power. It delivered a much better driving experience. And over time, it earned a stronger reputation among enthusiasts and owners alike. Yet thousands of buyers convinced themselves the IS250 was basically the same car. After all, they looked nearly identical. Why spend more? The answer became obvious the moment people actually lived with them. The IS250 wasn't a terrible car. Far from it. In fact, compared to many competitors, it was still a solid vehicle. But that's exactly what makes it interesting. It was an almost good Lexus. The dumb purchase was buying the weaker version while telling yourself you were getting the same experience. And if you think that's disappointing, wait until you see the next Lexus on this list. Because if the IS250 was the Lexus that looked better on paper than it felt in real life, the GX460 is the complete opposite. The GX460. People absolutely love this thing. Toyota fans treat it like one of the greatest SUVs ever built. And to be fair, there are good reasons for that. The GX460 has earned one of the strongest reliability reputations in the entire automotive world. These things seem almost impossible to kill. You'll find owners proudly talking about 200,000-mile examples. Some have crossed 300,000 miles. Others are still running strong after years of abuse, bad roads, harsh weather, and heavy use. The GX460 became famous for doing something most luxury SUVs struggle with: lasting. And that's exactly where the problem begins. Because once a vehicle develops a reputation like that, people stop evaluating the actual product. And the legend says the GX460 is amazing. But the actual vehicle? That's a more complicated conversation. For starters, the GX460 was old. For years, Lexus kept selling essentially the same SUV with only minor updates. While competitors were introducing modern interiors, larger screens, improved technology, and more efficient powertrains, the GX460 kept showing up looking like it had accidentally driven out of another decade. The infotainment system felt outdated, the cabin design started feeling dated, and some of the technology lagged behind vehicles that cost the same amount of money. Yet buyers kept lining up. Why? Because reliability. But reliability doesn't make the gas station disappear. And that's another issue people conveniently ignore. The GX460 was thirsty. Its old-school V8 might sound great, but it wasn't exactly known for efficiency. While competitors were finding ways to squeeze more miles out of every gallon, the GX460 often felt like it was actively trying to keep gas stations in business. And then we have the used market. Normally, older vehicles become bargains. That's how depreciation works. Except the GX460 didn't always follow those rules. Because of its reputation, used examples often stayed surprisingly expensive. But what if you're paying a premium for reliability you may never actually need? What if you're spending thousands extra because of a reputation rather than the vehicle sitting in front of you? That's the trap. The GX460 isn't a bad SUV. In fact, it's incredibly capable. It's comfortable, it's durable, and it's one of the few luxury SUVs that can genuinely handle serious off-road use. Because a vehicle can be excellent and still be overpriced. A vehicle can be reliable and still be of poor value. And that's the mistake so many buyers make. They assume reliability automatically equals a smart purchase. It doesn't. Sometimes you're simply paying extra for a reputation. But at least the GX460 can do things most SUVs can't. The next Lexus can't even use that excuse. The ES250. This is the entry-level Lexus mindset. And the ES250 sits right in the middle of it. Because this is where Lexus does something very smart. They sell access. The ES250 is often the first step into that world. It has the Lexus badge. And for a lot of buyers, that badge is the entire point. Just the name. And when you actually compare the ES250 to its real competition, the picture changes. People cross-shop it with cars like the Toyota Camry or the Toyota Avalon, and sometimes even with Hondas or Acuras in the same price range. But once you strip away the badge, the differences are not always as big as buyers expect. Yes, the Lexus feels a bit more refined. Yes, the cabin materials are slightly nicer. Yes, the ride is a little more polished. But are those differences always worth the extra money? That's where opinions split. Because what you're really paying for isn't just engineering, it's perception. The ES250 exists in this strange space where it's technically a luxury car, but emotionally it often feels like a very well-finished mainstream sedan. And that's not a criticism of the car itself. It's a reality check for the buyer. Because a lot of people don't walk into this purchase asking what they're getting. They walk in already convinced they know the answer. They want a Lexus. And Lexus understands that better than most brands. That's why entry-level luxury exists in the first place. It gives people a way to say, I own a luxury car, without stepping into the higher price tiers. But what exactly changed? Did the technology suddenly become groundbreaking? Did ownership costs suddenly shift in a meaningful way? In many cases, the answer is no. You get improvements, yes, but they're often incremental, not transformative. And that's where the trap forms. Because the badge starts doing more work than the car itself. People begin to associate the logo with value, even when the actual value difference is small. And that's how you end up with a situation where two cars can be mechanically similar, similarly reliable, similarly comfortable. But one costs significantly more simply because of what it says on the hood. That's the ES250 story. They're comparing identities. But now we're getting into the truly dangerous Lexus models. The cars people buy because they're convinced nothing can go wrong. The 200,000-mile Lexus idea. You've seen it everywhere. Forums, YouTube comments, car guys saying, mileage doesn't matter if it's a Lexus. And at first, it sounds believable. Because yes, Lexus has built some of the most reliable luxury cars ever made. Some of them genuinely do last a very long time. But somewhere along the way, that turned into a dangerous assumption. That mileage stops mattering. It doesn't. Mileage always matters. Because no matter how well an engine is built, everything around it is still wearing down every single mile. Suspension components don't care about the badge. Control arms wear out, bushings crack, shocks lose performance. The ride that once felt smooth slowly becomes loose and tired. Then there's rubber, hoses age, seals dry out, gaskets harden. Small leaks start showing up in places that were perfectly fine years ago. And electronics don't improve with age either. Sensors fail, wiring gets brittle. Small electrical gremlins appear that never existed in the car's early life. This is where the myth breaks apart. Because people see a Lexus with 200,000 miles and think it's still basically new. It isn't. It might still be reliable in the sense that it starts every morning, but that's not the same as being problem-free. And this is where ownership experience quietly changes. A high-mileage Lexus can go from solid and dependable to constantly need something small fixed, without ever feeling like it is truly broken down. The real issue is that people confuse engine reliability with total vehicle condition. They assume that if the engine is strong, everything else must be fine too. But that's not how cars work. A Lexus engine might comfortably survive 300,000 miles, but the rest of the vehicle still ages like any other machine on the road. That's why maintenance history matters more than the badge ever will. Two identical Lexus models with the same mileage can have completely different realities. One can feel tight, smooth, and well kept. The other can feel tired, worn, and expensive to maintain. And that's the part people forget when they chase high mileage deals. Reliability lowers risk. It doesn't remove the need for maintenance. And it definitely doesn't pause time. Because eventually, physics catches up with every vehicle. That's the part of the Lexus myth people don't like to say out loud. Because it's easier to believe in the idea of a forever car than to accept that even the most reliable vehicles eventually need serious attention. And one Lexus sedan may be the biggest reason this myth exists. With the Men Lexus that perfectly exposes the gap between perception and reality, it's the LS460. This is the flagship, the top of the lineup, the car Lexus built to prove it could compete with the best luxury sedans in the world. And when it launched, it absolutely delivered. Silky smooth ride, insanely quiet cabin, powerful V8, a level of comfort that made long drives feel effortless. For years, the LS460 was the definition of Japanese luxury engineering done right. But time doesn't care about flagship status, and neither do repair bills. A full-size luxury sedan that originally cost 6 figures, now selling for the price of a used economy car. People see luxury at a discount, but what they often don't see is what comes with it. This is still a complex, high-end machine. And high-end machines don't become cheap to maintain just because they get older. One of the most talked about issues over time has been air suspension problems on certain models. Great when it works, expensive when it doesn't. Because once components start failing, replacement costs can quickly climb. Then there's the control arm wear that comes with age and weight. This is a heavy luxury sedan, and over time, suspension components take a real beating. Add in brake actuator issues that some owners have reported, and suddenly that cheap luxury starts to look very different. None of these problems make the LS460 a bad car. That's not the point. In fact, when everything is working properly, it still feels like a world-class luxury experience. The problem is expectation. People walk into LS460 ownership thinking they've unlocked luxury at a discount. They assume reliability means low cost forever. But flagship engineering is still flagship engineering. And when something goes wrong, it rarely feels cheap. That's the part that catches people off guard. Because the purchase price tells one story, the maintenance reality tells another. And those two stories don't always match. It's not a bad purchase by default. In fact, it can be an incredible car if you understand what you're buying. But it becomes a trap when buyers treat it like a normal used sedan with a strong reputation. It's a full-size luxury flagship designed with complexity, comfort, and performance in mind. And that complexity doesn't disappear with age. It just becomes your responsibility. That's why so many owners end up surprised, because they expected cheap Lexus ownership to stay cheap forever. The LS460 can absolutely give you one of the best luxury driving experiences for the money on the used market, but only if you go in with the right expectations. Because the real cost of this car isn't always in the price you pay to buy it, which leads to the final realization of this entire list. Because even the LS460, as expensive as it can become over time, still isn't the dumbest Lexus purchase you can make. That title belongs to something much newer, the RX350 F-Sport. Before getting into it, if you're enjoying this breakdown, hit subscribe. We break down cars, brands, and the stuff nobody really explains properly. Now back to it. The RX line is already one of the most popular luxury SUVs in the world. It's the kind of car people buy when they want zero stress in their daily life. And then Lexus adds the F-Sport badge. Now it's a performance SUV. At least, that's what many people think they're getting. The styling definitely helps. The exterior looks more aggressive. The grille feels sharper. The wheels look sportier. The branding sounds more serious. F-Sport. It almost feels like a completely different version of the car. But once you actually look past the surface, the reality becomes clear pretty quickly. Most of what changes is cosmetic. The engine is still focused on smooth, reliable, everyday driving, not performance. The transmission tuning might feel slightly different, but it doesn't transform the SUV into something sporty in any real sense. The suspension might be adjusted for a firmer feel, but it's still built around comfort first. And that's where the gap appears. Because a lot of buyers don't realize that they're stepping into a comfort SUV with a performance-themed package. And those are two very different things. This is where expectations start to matter more than specifications. If you buy the RX350 F-Sport expecting a calm, refined daily driver with a bit of extra style, you're probably going to be happy. It delivers exactly that. But if you buy it expecting something that drives like a true performance SUV, you're going to feel a disconnect almost immediately. Because the feeling of speed, aggression, and sportiness that the badge suggests just isn't really there in the way people imagine. And that's the core issue. But that identity doesn't fully match the expectation the branding creates. This is where Lexus does something very clever. They understand that buyers don't always want a different driving experience. Then are you buying performance, or are you buying the appearance of performance? Because once you separate those two things, the RX350 F-Sport becomes much easier to understand. It's a comfort-focused luxury SUV with sporty styling, not a sports SUV in the traditional sense. And that difference is exactly where buyers get caught, because sometimes you're paying for faster-looking driving, and that's a very different purchase, which leads to the biggest mistake Lexus buyers make. At this point, there's something important to understand, because if you look back at everything we covered, a pattern starts to appear. None of these Lexus models were truly bad cars. The IS250 had issues, but it wasn't a disaster. The GX460 is outdated, but incredibly capable. The ES250 is comfortable, even if it's not a huge leap over cheaper options. The LS460 delivers real luxury, even if maintenance can be expensive. And the RX350 F-Sport? It's still a solid, comfortable SUV. Then what's actually going on here? The truth is, the biggest issue isn't the cars. It's how people approach them. This isn't about one model. It's about a mindset that shows up over and over again. Reliability is not the same as perfection, and it definitely isn't the same as value. What ends up happening is simple. The badge replaces comparison shopping. Instead of looking at what else is available in the same price range, buyers lock in mentally on Lexus as the default best choice. Instead of asking what they are giving up, they only focus on what they believe they are gaining. And instead of evaluating ownership costs honestly, they assume reliability will cover everything. But it doesn't. It doesn't remove trade-offs, and it doesn't guarantee value. That's the part people miss. Because every car still has compromises. When you ignore those factors because of a reputation, that's where mistakes happen. But what do you think? Let us know in the comment section below and hit subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and make sure you check out the channel for more.